Hello, Peter.
Hey, Brenda. I'm Peter Hugler, and I'm here to talk about my experience with Psych-k and working with Christina. And I've been doing Psych-k for over 10 years, off and on. And it's really made pretty dramatic impact on my life and just my personal emotional well-being. Really is what has had the most impact. And that impacts all of your life. So your emotional well-being really does play a big part in how your life manifests and how the outer world reacts to you. And whenever I started doing Psych-k, I've always been kind of a spiritual person, and it just kind of, I just met somebody who was doing it, so that's how I started doing it with them. And as we went along, Christina was doing it with them as well, and she eventually got certified to do Psych-k. And so I still do it with the other person, but I mostly do it with Christina now. And it's just been a huge help in my life, and I can be a little bit more specific, but what it's done for me personally is kind of help me change my subconscious beliefs, which is really where Psych-k works, is your subconscious, because that's where most of your problems really with life really lies, in your subconscious beliefs. And I heard a speaker say one time, your unconscious beliefs, and somebody in the crowd goes, subconscious, and he goes, I know it's supposed to be subconscious, but I say unconscious because it's sub to nothing. It rules your life. And so that to me just like rang a bell, and I was like, oh. So that's kind of when I really started looking at trying to affect my subconscious thoughts and bring them forth to the conscious, and heal the parts that are that are not healthy. And so that's kind of what Psych-k does, is it just, and sometimes you don't even become conscious of what you're healing, but it's more of a feeling, but it really goes deep down into your subconscious levels of your soul. And I believe it even affects things that you've carried forward from past lives, things that you've carried forward from childhood that you've blocked out or repressed or suppressed, and that you're not even aware of, and helps clear those things away and cut free of the ties to those subconscious beliefs that are holding you back from manifesting the life that you want. We've done all kinds of balances for just emotional health, physical health, prosperity, financial prosperity. It helped me with, I used to be a salesman. I guess I still am a salesman. I have my own business, but when I was doing sales for someone else, it helped me break through some ceilings that I'd subconsciously created, and help me deal with, because in sales there's a lot of rejection, and so that you have to deal with and get over it. So I went from somebody who was, and in terms of percentages of like the people that you meet with that you actually sell something to, and I went from very average, or even pretty low average of around 30% people buying from me that I met with, all the way up to like 45%, which is really high, and was one of the highest in the whole company nationwide. So it's things like that help break you free of these negative ties, even karmic ties that are holding you back.
Yeah, and did you immediately start seeing results, or how did it go for you? I mean, also in emotional healing, for example, in your relationship, or yeah.
It's pretty immediate. It might not be like you're done with your session and then the phone rings, but maybe in the next week or two or month or so, you notice the things that you're having problems with aren't so much of a problem anymore. And sometimes you have to go back and you have to rebalance things, because there's deeper layers that the subconscious is so deep and complex, And, personally, I believe, in reincarnation, and there's many lifetimes that you've carried forward these emotional and karmic ties to the past that, that you're totally unaware of. So sometimes you have to keep rebalancing the same things over and over, but I think it just goes down. If you're having the same issue pop up, like you do the Psych-k balance and you don't have a problem with it for a while, then it comes up again. I think that's just a deeper layer that you've got to deal with. And so it's kind of like an onion, peeling back the layers of an onion, if you will. So
yeah,
sometimes the results don't always show up immediately. Sometimes you don't even notice the results. Sometimes it's the wounds are so deep, you have to go, you have to work on it for a long time, but it really just takes determination. And it's not an overnight easy fix by any means. Like I said, I've been doing it off and on for 10 years, and sometimes I'll do it consistently and sometimes I won't. And so it's but it's just a work. Your whole life is just a work in progress. So I think one of the things that you got to remember too is just to go easy on yourself and not rush it, because sometimes the resistance that you feel is mostly your ego that is going to be holding on to what it believes is true, which is the opposite of real truth typically. So the light and love of God, or whatever you call it, is the true reality of who you are. And the ego believes the opposite of that. Yeah. The ego wants to keep you rooted down in fear and the exterior circumstances that keep you distracted from your inner truth, the truth of your inner being. And that's one of the things that's helped me, Psych-k has helped me with as well, and other healing modalities, is waking up to my inner truth of who I am. So, and I've grown as a person because of it, become a better person because of it. So
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. You've been doing so much work with Psych-k, so it's like, where do I start telling about it?
And it is, for me, I'm not a very expressive person, I don't guess, but in some ways I am, in some ways I'm not. But the work that you do with Psych-k and things like that is life changing. So it's only for the better. And if it feels like it's for the worse, it's because you've got ego attachments to whatever it is that you're trying to overcome. So, and most of the time you're not even consciously aware of these attachments. So it can be difficult, and it can be disheartening at times. And the ego will even, put, I'm talking like the ego, like it's something separate, but it's, it's a part of you, but it puts distractions and thoughts in your mind of, this isn't working. You've done this work, but nothing's changed. When in reality, if you sit quietly and look inward, you'll see there has been progress made, and every little bit of progress is something. So don't be discouraged, no matter how little the progress is. And the more resistance you feel, probably is because the more progress you're making.
Thank you very much. So maybe you would like to tell something about Christina.
Working with Christina has been great, and it's really helped our relationship grow deeper and stronger. And she's my wife, so we do have our own baggage that we carry into the relationship and carry into the sessions that we have together. But what Christina has done for me is really challenged me and stretched me to greater limits. She's expanded my boundaries, if you will. And whenever I don't feel like doing the work to grow spiritually and emotionally, she's always pushing me to do the work and helping me face my fears and face the challenge, really, of spiritual work, as there is a lot of resistance in everybody, or most everybody, to doing this kind of work. Face your emotions, and and really change who you are. And it's not really changing who you are; it's becoming more of who you are, and growing into the person that you're meant to be, the person you came here to be. So it's really an expansion into a greater version of yourself. And Christina helps do that very well. And she said to me one time, she hates having to be the person to hold the mirror up to everybody, basically. And because it's because not everybody likes it. So, but she's good at holding up the mirror and showing you your dark side, showing you how you can become better. So working with Christina in that way has been challenging but incredible.
Thank you very much, Peter, for sharing your experience with Psych-k and with Christina. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
See you next time.
All right. Good to see your smiling face. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Peter. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.